I'd come to this project with many of the same assumptions that you have concerning the Jersey Devil murders and the guilt of Jim Seard. His characterization as a troubled young man responsible for a spree of horrific, ritualistic homicides in the Pine Barrens. The question in my mind was why? Why would a man commit such crimes? After reviewing hours of archived footage generated by Stephen Avcast and Locus Weiler, the hosts of Fact or Fiction, I've been forced to change my perspective. The question now for me is what? What really happened that night? And is Jim Seard truly responsible? Ironically, in the course of this project, Jim Seard has died in prison under mysterious causes. His death will forever shroud the reconciliation of this case. As they said on Fact or Fiction, you decide.
"911, what is your emergency?"
My name is Jim Seard. I just hitchhiked here from the middle of the Pine Barrens, and I can't seem to find the people that I was in the Pine Barrens with, and I was camping with them last night doing a project.
Are you lost?
I'm not lost. I'm just I can't find the people that drove me here, and I looked around for them, and I went back to the site where we had parked, and they're not at the van, and they're nowhere to be found. I don't know where they are.
Their vehicle is still there?
The vehicle's still there, and I had to hitchhike to this payphone.
How far are you from the vehicle right now?
I'm about 5-10 miles from it. I don't know.
Okay, Jim, we'll send someone out.
Yeah, it would be a good idea. I got a really bad feeling about it. You might want to send somebody out quickly. I have a bad feeling. And
WBRK time, it is 5 o'clock. It's time for that afternoon drive that you love so much. Hey, guess who made the missing reports? It's those hosts from Fact or Fiction. Missing? Ha! Bob, you know those guys are going to be showing up sometime the next day saying, "Surprise, did you miss us?" Let's go to the phones and we'll ask you, do you miss them?
We have found bodies. At this time, we don't know who they are or how many we have found. We cannot assume at this time that it is the Fact or Fiction crew. At this time, we have arrested Jim Seard for the murders of Ryan Clacken and Locus Weiler.
Behind me is the house where Jim Seard resided until his arrest nearly 7 months ago. Inside, amongst his dirty laundry, blood evidence was found linking him to the grisly Fact or Fiction murders. Today, Jim's own life hangs in the balance as jurors decide his fate.
I had heard of the Fact or Fiction murders. They were big news for a period of 1 year, and then, like so many things in today's fast-paced world, were forgotten. I was intrigued by how this story was so well documented. How, in spite of the remote location of the murders and the rural nature of the people prosecuting Jim, that these were murders of a high-tech age. I was intrigued by the fact that the 4 individuals were indeed children of a digital age. Mostly, though, I wondered why the man named Jim Seard would commit such horrendous acts of violence.
This is Johnny
and Locus,
and we are live in the Pine Barrens, where tonight we are doing a first ever internet broadcast, cable, ham radio, broadcast, all live, all real. And we are doing it with the help of a psychic and a sound man who has the ability to record sounds from other worlds, otherworldly sounds.
Yeah, that's right, Stephen. We're here in the Pine Barrens, southern New Jersey, live and direct, coming right at you in your living room. First ever web, simulcast, cablecast, and everybody is on the edge of their seat. And I know you are, because I am, and I'm sure Stephen is too.
A little later, we're going to be showing you the campsite, but right now, we're going to do a little recapping, and you're going to see some tape of the history of the legend of the Pine Barrens and the Jersey Devil.
They actually lived their show, fact or fiction. Here's this real eerie circumstances that come to play, and they actually were the victims of it.
He had the opportunity. It appears as if he had the motive. He did lure those people up there in a veil of secrecy. I would say, yeah, he fits the profile.
Who was Jim Seard? The answer proved more difficult than I imagined. His mother had died 4 months before the murders. His father, 5 years before. The only two people that I was able to speak with that knew him personally were his landlady, Joyce Dreyer, and a childhood psychologist named Dr. Dale Orstall.
I was sort of a father figure to him, I feel. Sort of a surrogate father, if you will. He didn't talk a whole lot about his family life, but one of the things I know is that his father left them when he was very young, ran off with another woman. He had few friends, if any. He was very reclusive.
I remember him being quite a loner. He seemed to stay in his room quite a bit when he wasn't at work. And the computer seemed to be a highlight in his life.
With the advent of the internet, of course he got into that years after I was seeing him. It wasn't even available, I don't think, at the time. It opened up a whole new world for a guy like Jim.
Often he would be on the internet with people, and as we know, the horrible situation that has come up because of the internet fiasco with him being blamed for these murders.
The internet was the first of two interests that would attach him to the fact or fiction television show. The second interest was a bit more obscure.
Jim had this fascination for magic. I mean, a true fascination. I mean, he, like I told you, he was very reclusive, so I believe he must have spent countless hours in his room alone working on tricks. And he used to come in and start the sessions, and he had to show me a new trick, and often was a simple card trick. But very quickly, he built skills and became very proficient at magic.
The internet and magic, both interests generally considered harmless. Both interests that could have a sinister edge to them. Either way, it was a combination that virtually sealed his fate in meeting Stephen Avcast and Locus Wheeler, the hosts of Fact or Fiction.
Welcome to Fact or Fiction.
Welcome to Fact or Fiction. Yes, we are rolling. We are on. We are ready to go. Locus, you joker, you knew it all along that we were on, didn't you?
Yeah, welcome to our new show. Well, actually, it's not a new show. It's got a new name. Thanks to everybody out there who helped us come up with this great name, Fact or Fiction.
That's right.
Fact or Fiction was one of those fluke successes that no television producer would ever predict. Short on production value, talent, and execution, it maintained a following of youth, probably more amused by its kitsch value than anything else. Stephen Avcast, the creator of Fact or Fiction, is remembered.
Stephen, I always got bad vibes about Stephen. He always came in here with this, attitude that, he always doing is making a little cable show. I mean, there's nobody ever goes anywhere with this stuff, but he had this idea. He was destined for stardom, and he was going to be rich, millions of dollars, and he basically had that big, director like stereotype that you think of, you think of the big Hollywood directors, and I mean, he really just had to put it in perspective.
Stephen's longtime friend, Locus Weiler, was the co-host of the show. Their pairing was like oil and water.
Locus, I think, he and Stephen would have problems getting along sometimes, but I think Locus just really, I mean, he knew what he was doing. I mean, with this, he knew it was just a little cable show, and I think he was just in it for the fun.
Somehow Stephen, a misguided egomaniac, and Locus, a sardonic slacker, managed to keep turning out shows for the better part of 1995. The ideas were slim. However, they did latch onto one idea that intrigued many.
We're also doing something new. We are an IRC tonight, and we have joined
IRC's
the word.
in the house.
And, yeah, you can say that. I'm saying it's swinging.
Well, I have to say, one idea they come up with, it was actually, well, at first it was pretty cool, but it's got to be pretty freaky too. They came up with this idea. Now, most TV shows will have like call-ins where people call on the phone and talk. Well, they tied this into the internet through IRC chat, except so people could ask questions on the show. But they rigged up some sort of text-to-speech converter, so whatever they typed in was actually said on the show like it was a voice.
It was this idea that provided the impetus for what would ironically give Stephen the fame he so craved. By the fall of 1995, the one-joke television show was losing popularity. By November, the show was about to self-destruct. Everybody had this sense.
Once again, Stephen, in his delinquency and procrastination, has made it so we are too late to find the Snow Angel.
At this desperate time, Stephen turned to viewer suggestions, one of which would take hold in his mind. It provided the seedling with which Stephen hoped to rebuild the show's popularity.
We had a call, we had an IRC come in, and it's a real eerie voice. I mean, it drove me nuts. I almost couldn't stand this after a while because just hearing this voice like, "Hello, why don't you do a piece on?
Why don't you do a show about the Jersey Devil?"
Stephen's idea was to do a first-ever live broadcast of fact or fiction. It would be broadcast simultaneously to cable television and the internet. The promotions began immediately, and with ratings dropping at an ever-increasing speed, the concept was implemented immediately.
This Jersey Devil cablecast, I mean, I for one, I knew it wasn't going to work. I mean, these guys couldn't even make a halfway decent TV show. I mean, now suddenly they want to jump into doing, big time live, from the Pine Barrens and have radio and internet and this and that. And, I knew it was going to be a fiasco. I didn't really think it was going to end up like it did, but I knew it wasn't going to look pretty.
Since the show was going to air from a remote location, Stephen hastily looked for people who might be able to help. A former employer of his, Sam Woods, was approached.
This is the room of Sam Woods. I used to cut his grass. He's a filmmaker, and he used to do soap operas, and we're gonna ask him if he wants to direct the show, because I think he'd be perfect, and he's like a name, and that could really be good for us. So I've had to talk to Locus and try to convince him about it, but he's going for it. Well, here they come, so I'm gonna turn it down.
Steven.
That's right.
Steven.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
Lucas.
Nice to meet you.
Lucas. Nice to meet you.
Well, they say up to 50,000 people could possibly be watching at any time, but they don't know exactly how many. But we're selling lots of T-shirts, so that's a good sign, I think. Anyway, we have this idea. We want to take it in this direction where it's going to become much bigger, and it would be really cool if you could help us out. If you could direct the show. I know that you used to direct lots of the soap operas.
Network soaps.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This union of cable access show and former network soap director never made sense to anyone, though it was later discovered that Stephen was paying Sam out of his own pocket in an act of desperation to save fact or fiction.
All right.
You got it.
We're in business.
Yeah.
Let's make some media here.
This is cool.
Sam Woods, a once successful television soap director, became one of the people I would question about these events. In stark contrast to his work, meeting him was another road sign on my travel into a surreal world.
Well, this devil hunt thing never appealed to me. We're getting into a pretty flaky area there, you know. I think the kids were asking for it with that one. Not the kind of work I do, you know what I mean? Not what I do.
For the internet end, Jay McDowell was enlisted.
They came to me with a seedling idea. They said, you know, we want to use some of this technology we've been using for teleconferencing, for the video conferencing, and we want to turn this into a broadcast thing. They'd heard some talk about it, and they'd seen some sites that were trying to do some stuff like that, so they wanted something like that. They wanted to do it a live thing rather than, like, you know, streaming canned video. They wanted to actually broadcast and compress it all live. So they basically just came to me with that seedling of an idea, and I had to figure out you know, all the technical aspects of how to make it happen, make it real, and what you know, kind of the packaging for it, what it was really going to be in the final product.
Stephen and Locust decided that they needed additional help at the actual location. They searched vaguely for a sound man and a guide, and on December 7th, 1995, worlds collided.
Okay, we're here at Ryan's, and we've come today to meet him in hopes that he'll be able to help us out on our trip to the Pine Barrens. Basically, Ryan is an audio whiz, and supposedly he's been able to document you know, paranormal occurrences on tape. So that's what we're going to see today. We're also going to be meeting Jim, who does some psychic things, and we'll see, you know. Hopefully these guys will fit the bill, and we'll be able to go down to the Pine Barrens with them, you know. Could use the extra help. Is that good? Yeah? You got enough? I hope this damn mic works. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, play it cool. Play it cool. Is this going to blow us, this airplane sound?
Come on.
Steven, this is Ryan, right? Ryan?
Yep.
How
you doing?
I'm Locust.
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 Here, I'll just turn it off. So you just taped us? Yeah, I guess so, actually. So do you have like a surveillance setup here or something?
Well,
or what?
for the time being, I kind of did. I just set it up outside. I have like plugins I can plug into the wall and stuff if I need to. At one point, this was like a working studio of some sort. So
I think maybe Jim has arrived now. Can you?
How are you? You're predeterminedly met.
Hold on. Hey, Jim, what's up?
How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Lotus.
Locust.
Hi. How are you? I'm Jim.
It was inevitable that the combination of the internet, a television show about paranormal happenings, and similar ages would draw Jim Seard to Fact or Fiction.
So, just to give a little background, you know, basically we're going to be doing this webcast, cablecast in search of the Jersey Devil, the Leeds Devil, down in the Pine Barrens. And basically why we've gotten you guys together here is because you have skills regarding audio and paranormal activity. So we're hoping that you can help us in that way. And you have these psychic abilities.
Psychic abilities that I can, you know, I feel that I can really help out. I understand what you're trying to do, and I really think that I can help out.
You can help us find a location. You can help us tap into whatever we need.
I can pinpoint that location.
Jim came to me one day and told me how excited he was that he had met these people over the internet. It was some show, Fact or Fiction, and he was to be their guide in the Pine Barrens. And what really amazed me, I just didn't think he knew or had any knowledge of the Pine Barrens to be able to even be a guide. But he seemed so excited about it.
Is this good?
Yeah. Do you want to hold them up, or do you want me to just call them?
just like this. I'm not gonna touch it. You can't touch it. Okay.
6 spade. 7 spade. 4 spade. 5 spade. 8 club. 8 diamond.
Come on, man. Let's go. Grab his other hand. Grab his other hand.
I saw him probably about 2 or 3 weeks before the incident. I ran into him at a shopping mall, and he was very excited about his life. He said he was studying acting. His magic was coming together. People were appreciating it, combined with the acting. I guess he did a few gigs on a small level, but it was going very, very well.
Give him more action. There's something on his arm. Something on his arm.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Jesus. Christ. 1, 3, 9, 5. What does this mean? What does this mean, Jim? Do you know what this means?
No.
Are you
Yeah, you got it. Back off. You recording this?
Yeah.
Was Jim psychic? It was not likely. The card demonstration and the supposed psychic fit in which numbers appeared on his arm were nothing more than simple tricks, known to any amateur magician. To Stephen and Locus, Ryan Clacken and Jim Seard were perfect for fact or fiction. Youthful, eager, and strange. On December 15th, 1995, Stephen Avcast, Locus Weiler, Ryan Clacken, and Jim Seard headed for the Pine Barrens of New Jersey to do a live broadcast in search of the Jersey Devil. Jim Seard would be the only one to return.
911, what is your emergency?
My name is Jim Seard. I just hitchhiked here from the middle of the Pine Barrens, and I can't seem to find the people that I was in the Pine Barrens with, and I was camping with them last night doing a project.
Are you lost?
I'm not lost. I'm just I can't find the people that drove me here, and I looked around for them, and I went back to the site where we had parked, and they're not at the van, and they're nowhere to be found. Like, I don't know where they are.
Their vehicle is still there?
The vehicle's still there, and I had to hitchhike to this payphone.
How far are you from the vehicle right now?
I'm about 5, 10 miles from it. I don't know.
Okay, Jim, we'll send someone out.
After Mr. Seard made the call, we went to the area that he specified and did a preliminary look around under a missing persons investigation.
I mean, I just figured that was one of their little stints to do, just to try to get that extra, that extra sensationalism. So, I mean, I didn't think anything of it at first. I kind of expected them to try something like that.
We have a 187. Repeat, we have a 187. This isn't a missing persons report anymore. 912. We're clear. Do you need emergency support? 1012. No, this guy is definitely DOA.
One body we found approximately 2.5 miles from the campsite. The other body we found approximately 3 miles from the campsite.
The body of Stephen Avcast was never found. Large amounts of blood in the snow and a hat were all that remained of this third victim.
In any murder investigation, anybody associated with the victims is a suspect. Our job is to eliminate suspects based on the evidence that we sift through and that we gather. And as we sifted through and gathered this evidence, there was only one suspect left at the end, and that was Mr. Jim Seard.
Who led everybody to the site?
I did.
you did. Did anybody else know where you were going to set up in camp?
Well, I was asked to find a place for us to camp, and I thought that I was doing a good job at it, and Ryan continued to provoke me and then to give me a hard time about my ability to locate the place that we would camp. And ultimately it led to an argument, and I ran away from the group.
Did you hit him first?
I don't know. I think I might have pushed him. Sometimes I can't remember if I did what I ran away from the group, and I found the spot that I thought would be good to locate the Jersey Devil.
After we got the permission from the state of Pennsylvania to search Mr. Seward's residence, we went to his residence, and we did conduct a search for anything that we felt would help us in this case. And we did find the garments that Mr. Seward was wearing that night with the blood of the 3 victims on it. Interestingly, the garments that Mr. Seward was wearing were merely lying right on his bedroom floor, along with the other dirty laundry that was there.
Even as Jim was arrested, the evidence continued to mount against him.
We could tell that the nature of the blows with the weapons that were used were consistent with the size and build of the accused. In this case, it was very clear that the attacker was using both hands with 2 weapons and was ambidextrous, and the suspect in this case is ambidextrous, which is quite rare.
He was the only survivor in a place where nobody else was. It doesn't look that good for him.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we will show that on December 15th, 1995, Jim Seward maliciously and with premeditation killed Ryan Clacken and Locus Weiler. We will show without doubt how he planned this well in advance of that day. We will show with video shot by the deceased that Jim Seward was and is a devious and cunning person, using the guise of psychic to perpetrate these horrible acts.
The proceedings that summer turned out to be one of the greatest spectacles of Baroque County history. The trial attracted a strange assemblage of cult followers, ritual homicide fanatics, and others seeking to satisfy their morbid curiosities. Eventually, it became a matter of trying to keep the tabloid press at bay, an effort which was not entirely successful.
When the court case came up, the media frenzy was, hysterical. I felt like they were, somebody was watching me like every minute when they were like just talking to everybody that had the slightest thing to do with the show. Who knows, they probably even talked to every single viewer that said they watched the show. But, just reporters day in and day out, and police here, just taking everything they could. Anything, it was every videotape, every prop, and, it was ridiculous. I don't know what they were looking for. All they were getting was a bunch of bad television.
In an election year, what the prosecution was looking for was an open and shut case. And in the state of New Jersey versus Jim Seward, they found it. Not content to leave any stone unturned, they decided to utilize the very video that Stephen Avcast and Locus Weiler had shot. The man, who would later by the press come to be known as the Killer Cutter, was hired to go through this video and put together an incriminating image of Jim Seward.
The prosecution contacted me in early January 1996. They had a pretty good case against him, it seemed to me, from what I saw. They had blood evidence. They'd found the blood, and this was the only guy there. And he was the only one that knew where it was. But they really wanted to clinch this case. They really wanted to get him. They didn't want there to be any question that he had done it. So they came to me with all this videotape, like 15 hours of videotape. And this was video that these guys who did this cable show had shot, on location. I'd never really edited anything I'd never seen anything like this before. This was like video from the crime scene. And normally, I've got, hours and hours of people, talking heads, in some room somewhere, badly shot. This was badly shot, but at least it was out in the woods, it was different.
The prosecution's video was intended to show facts. Perhaps not inadvertently. It also created an intimacy with the murdered three that the defense was unhappy with.
Right, and we're stopping to get some gasoline.
They protested it, deeming it an unfair swaying towards a guilty verdict. This was not enough reason for the video to be struck down, and so it was used. The first point demonstrated that Jim was indeed leading the group into very remote regions of the Pine Barrens, areas where there was no hope for help or aid from the civilized world. The following represents excerpts from the first section of the prosecution video. Over 54 minutes of video showing the four wandering deeper into the pines was shot. It is estimated that the four walked for more than 2 hours before Jim finally decided upon the location of their operations.
Hey guys, he's starting to go. Let's get this stuff together. So what's the deal, Jim?
Something's coming right through here.
When Jim finally found the perfect location, it was more than 3 miles from their van and the nearest access road. The second point was to make evident a defendant who had an agenda warped enough to commit these murders.
I've been contacting the supernatural world for the last week and last couple days, and I've been in contact getting my spiritual self together for this journey that we've put ourselves out on, and we are headed in the right direction. I can assure you. I can feel it. It's a gut instinct in my body that we're going to find the Leeds devil, and we're going to settle this case once and for all. I feel that what I'm doing here and for you is perfectly authentic, and it's, I have a feeling inside, it's a definite feeling that we're at a place where the Jersey Devil, we will encounter the Jersey Devil. I know we're headed in the right direction.
Repeated phrases, such as, "We're going to settle this thing once and for all," and "I know we're headed in the right direction," seemed to clearly show Jim's agenda. It didn't take much to read into these phrases and see an individual with a plan that was to be carried out in the desolate Pine Barrens. As the prosecution's video progressed, Jim's personality changed, from a quiet and shy person to one that presented the prosecution with an opportunity to show the violent nature just below the surface.
Look, man. I'll see you back at camp, man.
I don't know what Jim's doing. I think he's talking about Burns.
An agenda proven, and a potential violent streak proven, the prosecution solidified their first-degree murder case against Seard with video taken in the barn, video in which the original date of the trip appeared on Seward's arm. The defense attempted to have this also struck from the records, claiming the video of Seard to be that of a character he was playing. The prosecution countered by agreeing fully with this assessment of Seard and the events in the barn, events that had taken place a full 2 weeks before the trip, the best argument for premeditated murder. The trip began at sunrise. Stephen ran a video camera much of the time, documenting what should have been amusing but banal preparation.
Okay. You wanna...
Okay, Locust, yo, you want to do like a blurb about,
Yeah, I'll do it.
Mobius!
He's right over there.
Yeah, but I'm getting, like, the backlight's killing your face, I think.
What do you mean the backlight's killing my face? Why don't you adjust it? What do you mean you can't? Okay, you ready?
Yeah, go.
Okay, here we're at Ryan's barn. We're getting. Okay. Here. Come on, I'm trying to get at this on camera.
The trip, guided by Jim, took them into the loneliest of areas on a lonely, cold day.
Here's to you, Stephen.
Thank you.
A stop at a gas station was the last obvious landmark before they moved into the unidentifiable roads of the Pine Barrens.
Our candy!
At a certain point, at Jim's request, they stopped, parked, and started walking into the woods, following the psychic visions of Seard.
Now, I'm just saying, if he's going to do it, this is part of the show, we got to do it in the place he thinks is right. Because if we're going to find something, yeah, we could fake it, but I don't go for that. I think we should go for real, and he's off doing his thing. That's why we got him here. I'm just getting cold. But we knew this was going to be it. We all talked about it. We knew we were going to be way out there. Here he comes. Let's see what he says.
Be quiet, guys. Should get this guy from that. Psychics are us. I think this is a pretty good idea, us waiting around and then him finding the spot, and then taking the stuff over to it,
Yeah, we still gotta go back to the car and get stuff, man. See, I don't even think he knows that. Was he volunteering to do that? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I know he's not carrying too much, but you know what he said about that. It's a vibe thing.
Tensions increase as they work further into the Forsaken Pines. And then, a key point in the prosecution video arrives.
Okay.
Jim, are you a psychic or a psycho?
Look, man. I'll see you back at camp, man.
Approximately 1 hour later, judging from the sun, a camp is being built. Discussions are already being had about Seard. Seard is not helping. He is keeping to himself. For the next 2 hours, the video of the group is a collection of promotions for future cable shows, the camera frequently left on between takes.
This is Locust reporting from the Pine Barrens, and I'm with Ryan, our sound man. Gee, Ryan, I'm pretty parched.
I sure am too.
Wow, is that mulberry natural spring water?
Yes, from Mueller's.
Wow. How about, I wish I could have a sparkling glass of that.
Boy, I'm telling you, and in a gallon jar.
Jug.
The mood is good.
Let's do that again.
Jim does not join them, instead staying in the tent on IRC.
I don't really feel like I'm being taken very seriously, by really any of you.
Well, I'm taking you seriously. We set up here,
I'm doing what I do, and I don't appreciate being laughed at.
Well, it's just a stress thing, Look, we're gonna be going on in a bit. You gonna come out for the broadcast or what?
I think that I'll probably stay in here and
okay, well,
stay on IRC.
Okay.
At 10 p.m., in what will be the last broadcast, Fact or Fiction goes live.
This is Johnny.
And Locust.
And we are live in the Pine Barrens, where tonight we are doing a first ever internet broadcast. Cable.
Jim has been on IRC for 2 hours and 30 minutes. A surveillance camera records the camp to VHS tape. It runs for 2 hours before shutting off. At 1 a.m., the last tape in the series of 22 tapes, shot by Locust Weiler and Ryan Clacken, reaches its end.
Maybe this is a way for him to try to scare us or something.
Man, this thing's still on. What the hell's going on here?
Oh, I must have left it on. We should change tapes. Did you change tapes? Here, I'm going to change tapes in this.
There is no indication that this is done. No other footage exists. The tapes show a group of men going through a wide range of emotions, seemingly enjoying their jaunt into the Pine Barrens. The tape shows the brooding nature of one man who does not share in the frivolity. The tapes do make clear the maladjusted nature of Jim Seard. Though Seard maintained his innocence, the facts were indisputable. 4 people went into the Pine Barrens. Only Jim returned. Blood of all 3 was found on Jim's shirt. His pushing rind showed a potential violent streak. The angle and depth of the cuts and lacerations matched somebody of his height and weight, and more importantly, ambidextrous nature. The number, which closely matched the date of the murders appearing through ashes on his arm, was deemed to be a good case for premeditated murder. The tape showing the 4 walking further and further into the woods virtually guaranteed a seclusion from civilization that would make the killing easier. The defense's one victory was getting the 3rd charge of murder, the murder of Stephen Avcast, dropped. Though a body is not necessarily needed to prove a murder, the prosecution had more than enough evidence with the 2 bodies that were found. On July 16, 1996, Jim Seard was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to 2 life terms, to be served consecutively.
Went out last night for to take a little ride. Met little Sadie and I shot her down. Back home, crawled in the bed with the 44 pistol under my head.
I think the whole trial, I think, was a kangaroo court of sorts. A pig circus. I mean, the police obviously didn't do their homework. They're not investigating to the best of their ability because there has to be there has to be some evidence indicating somebody else or something else.
Woke up next morning about 9:30 with the horse and the buggy standing in line. Couple of
The case they built up against him, it was all circumstantial. They didn't have any actual evidence that he did this, but I mean, he was the only one there. They really had no one else to go on.
I don't consider having the blood of victims all over your clothes as circumstantial. I mean, that's pretty hard evidence as far as I'm concerned. You don't get blood on your clothes from a murder victim, you know, just out of the air. I mean, you have to be there conducting those murders to get that blood on your clothes. I don't consider that circumstantial in the least.
No, I can't explain that. I can't explain why there'll be blood on my shirt.
Would you agree that it looks bad?
Excuse me?
Would you agree that things don't look very good for you right now?
I don't. The way that you're telling me, it doesn't look that good for me, but I can't understand where this evidence came from.
The evidence of blood on Jim's shirt was a strong point for the prosecution. DNA tests showed indisputably that it was the blood of the 3 that had gone into the woods with Seard. As I look at the images of DNA patterns and pools of blood, I wonder though if perhaps the jury, anxious not to ignore DNA evidence, as had happened in other trials, perhaps looked too closely. Through the magnifying glass of the prosecution's microscope, the evidence was solid. However, a macroscopic view begged another question. Could the master of this orgy of violence have walked away from his work with merely the equivalent of 17 eye drops of blood on his shirt and nothing else?
You know, every piece of evidence they would get, you know, they'd, try to tie it somehow instead of thinking, okay, well, gee, does this have anything to do with something else? They would always take a piece of evidence and go, well, gee, how could Jim have done that, have used this, And it's kind of like, after a while, it's like building up like a, a house of cards, and after a while they just kept building up, and eventually they had enough build up to, get a case against them.
I wasn't really monitoring their conduct outside the camp, I was doing my thing.
What were you doing?
I was on IRC.
In the tent?
Yeah.
All night?
All night.
About what time did you start on IRC?
Probably around 8:30.
When we interviewed some of the individuals that Mr. Seard claimed to have been talking with on IRC that evening, and they have all, and we've looked at their logs as well too, their chat logs from their computers, and we have determined that there was about a 45-minute gap between when Mr. Seard made one comment to when he made the next comment, and 45 minutes is an awfully long time to not be responding to other people on the internet.
They say the signal dropped out, so Jim could have walked away, and I guess that is possible.
It is possible, yes. You don't necessarily have to be a world-class sprint runner to cover that amount of ground in 45 minutes.
In a way, I have to raise doubts of just one guy doing all that to these bodies.
The murdered pair, they're darlings of the media. I mean, it was one of the reasons they jumped on this whole thing so quickly and had to come up with a conclusion of what happened was just that. It was their very own.
As professionals in law enforcement, we do not feel the pressure from outside sources, be it the media or otherwise, to conduct our investigations. We conduct them to the best of our ability at all times. There were no other suspects to apprehend or to interview or to consider. All the evidence pointed that Mr. Seard was the only suspect, and therefore all we had to do was gather the evidence to prove Mr. Seard's guilt. We did not have to gather evidence to gather other suspects.
On January 2nd, 1997, an event occurred that forced me to rethink the making of this documentary. The very thesis with which I had begun this journey. Jim Seard was found dead in his jail cell of undetermined causes. On January 3rd, a package arrived at my door, which I think in no way was coincidental with the death of Jim Seard. The acquiring of mysterious videotape has changed the mood behind the making of this documentary. Gone is the attempt at pure objectivity with which we started. Now we question, who gave us this tape? And more importantly, what, if any, information does it hold that was never brought up in the trial? Going to the authorities with this new tape is pondered, but rejected. To them, the case is closed, and with Jim's death, appeals are a moot point. Nothing is ruled out. The tape could be a hoax. I am conscious of one thing, though. My search for the truth behind the fact or fiction murders has in some way become part of the story.
And there was this discussion on the last tape that, that they were going to change tapes. But, whether that ever happened or not, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see any other tapes, and from what I saw, the camera it was pretty damaged. So if there was any tape in there, I don't know. I mean, I doubt that it ever could be played.
My name is Michelle Monarch. I'm a magnetic media data recovery specialist. The particular videotape that I was given was mangled, almost beyond recognition. I digitized sections of this particular video, placed it into the computer, and am now reconstructing the actual picture frame by frame. And I have to guide the computer to complete these pictures. There were some that were easily captured by the computer, others were unrecognizable, and I'm rebuilding them now at this time.
As the tape is reassembled by Shelley, it becomes apparent that some sections are rather viewable.
And we'll do one of you. And I'll say, like, yeah, I'm here while Locus is out hunting for the Jersey Devil. And I'll be like, shut up. Or, yeah, you can be like, I don't see him. No, we better not do that because, we've got to deliver on this show. This is the big one here. Okay, are we ready there, Ron? Now, right now...
do you want me to still be rolling on this stuff, Stephen? Do you want to state that whole thing? I think I kind of could hear you. I've been rolling the camera, just messing around, shooting camp stuff. But could you, what was the deal with...
I don't care if you hear this or not on the camera. I mean, this is never going to make it anything but the cutting room floor, as they would say in the film days. From what Sam was saying. Sam, boy, even he was more...
All right, man, hang on a second.
I don't want to be like a bitch all night, Good, this works. All right, so I'm going to take a walk out into the woods here and just sort of scout out the location. I also got to kind of go to the bathroom, but do some...
Yeah, I'll do the sound.
Get on the trumpet, do the sound, because, you only have that one...
We're experiencing Newark's like doing its thing here.
Yeah, I know, but the airplanes from Newark are also... But we got a little bit... we got that one machine going, but I want to see that one reel going. Okay. I want to see you on that trumpet. I want to see you working for, the reason that you're out here. And Locus, come on, man. IR-144XX awaits you. Do some work, man.
Sure, Steven. Anything you say, big guy.
Yeah.
Coming right at you.
All right, I'm gonna get going here. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Okay, man.
Okay.
I'll be on that before we get back.
You do me a favor, flick on the machine, will you? There goes the little tyrant. Here, come on, I got the camera rolling. Do a little Steven imitation for me.
Just, you'll drain my veins.
Oh! Here, Steven being such a...
What are you trying to say?
Oh, no, I'm talking about Steven being a pussy. I'm not talking about Jim being a pussy. Jim's one psycho motherfucker.
Scary.
You want to let me get that on. Let me get that on camera.
Jim, I said that thing isn't running, is it?
Of course it's running. We're supposed to record everything. Here, give me a Jim. Why don't you do that line that you said when you were out of the bush? What did you think when Jim pushed you? I was a little bit, I don't know, it was weird. It was kind of fucking freaked me out, man. I didn't really expect him to be violent. I thought he was like, see, that's what I don't get, man. He's like totally like, I thought he was like one of those guys, like, those peace fucking meditation dudes or something, man. I didn't think they did that.
Following these recorded moments, a large portion of the tape is smashed. It is a section that Shelley will attempt to restore. The next section, that is immediately viewable, happens somewhere in the middle of the tape. The first thing that is apparent is that this is tape shot by Locus and Ryan. Stephen is nowhere to be seen. They are searching for him. On her third day of restoration, Shelley makes another discovery. The anonymous tape is not from one, but 2 cameras. Both Ryan and Locus took cameras into the forest.
Back to...
Wait, hold on a sec.
Let me get the light up here. This is fact or fiction. We can't find Stephen. Here we are in the Pine Barrens on a trip that he drug us out here for. We did a webcast, simulcast, cast, cable cast that really was pretty poor if you ask me. But that doesn't matter at this point because Stephen, our main host, is missing. Johnny Love is gone. He's gone and we can't find him. All I want to do is drink some beer at the camp. Show. See, this is for you, Stephen. Even though we don't know where you are, we just want you to know that we're being really loyal to this whole shoot everything.
Oh man, come on now. Where's
In the 6th day of her work, Shelley puts together a stunning piece of tape. It is a moment in time that proves so much.
The print, I think it goes off this way. Do you see anything over there?
For a while. Do you know what time it is?
Oh man, I think it's late. It's like 2:45.
2:45.
Yeah.
Ryan and Locust were alive and speaking the time to one another when they were supposed to be being killed. And they're alive, and they're saying the time on the video. To me, that proves that Jim absolutely was not killing him at that time. Jim's an innocent man, and this was not investigated in any way, shape, or form. It was overlooked. So many details were overlooked. Also, if he's an innocent man, there's a killer on the loose.
Shelley's work slowly gives voices to the dead. Ghosts caught on video.
We'll be able to find it. I don't know why we actually didn't think of it before. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I don't know. I feel weird about it.
I feel weird about it. This whole idea.
Yeah. Didn't you try to stop him? What's up with that? Did you try to stop him? What's up with that? What happened? Why was he getting so weird? Why was he getting so weird like that? Why? I just can't really get around here.
The processing of the tape is quickly becoming more difficult for Shelley. Now only bits and pieces tell the story of what happened in the woods. On February 5th, Shelley presents a section of videotape that is nothing short of horrifying. It intensifies the question of who the killer is. On February 7th, Shelley finds what she thinks is the same moment in time from Locust's camera. It cannot, however, be viewed. She remains hopeful as she begins the process of trying to reconstruct a lost video.
The computer needs me to direct it. It doesn't know how to reconstruct a circle. Maybe it'll have an opening at the side, and I have to teach it to continue the circle. I'm a guiding factor.
While Shelley begins the process of attempting to restore video, I will attempt to find a truth within the film I have already shot.
You know, in sitting there waiting for these video edits to render, I did wonder about certain aspects of the case, like, sometimes I wonder, am I doing the right thing? Is this, did this guy do it? I mean, it seemed to me from what I saw that, it was pretty likely that he did it. I mean, he had the blood evidence and stuff like that. But then there was the one guy that they never found his body. Now, what happened to him? I mean, could he have done it? I don't know.
It is an obvious question. A question I had presented to all the people interviewed. The tape restoration is showing Locus and Ryan searching for Stephen, which only makes the question more relevant. What happened to Stephen Avcast? By process of elimination, I proceed.
We did find some blood, and of course the infamous Johnny hat that was found. We were never able to find any more remains of that person, so we don't know if he's dead or alive.
They never found Stephen's body, but they found Johnny. But they found his hat, So, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird that the only thing left of him is a hat.
Coming right at you.
All right, I'm gonna make a call here. I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Okay, man. Okay. I'll be on that before we get back.
We don't think that Mr. Avcast would be able to set up Mr. Seard because the amount of blood that we found of Mr. Avcast is so great that he would have bled to death trying to set Mr. Seard up.
There goes the little tyrant. Oh, whoa, man, check it out, man. What? Here, turn that over there. Oh, wow, what's that? I don't know, man. There you go. Looks like a light. Yo, it's Stephen's light. What? It's Stephen's light. Yo, Steve! Steven!
In finding that Jim's alibi holds up, we have to attempt to answer the question raised. Who killed these people? The likely suspect would appear to be Stephen. As I watch these frames, though, I see no recognition in Locus's face. I see Locus, a man larger than Stephen, turn tail and run, as does Ryan. Stephen Avcast, being the culprit of the horrendous massacre that took place in the minutes that followed this tape, is impossible to believe. Along with the amount of blood that belongs to Stephen Avcast, this makes me believe that he also was murdered in the Pine Barrens. I am now also of the belief that the killer was somehow something more horrendous than possible to imagine. What could have killed 3 healthy men? What would have left no footprints? What would have torn the men into 47 pieces, leaving no evidence of a struggle?
We could tell by what was left of the infliction of the wound that it was a serrated type weapon. That much we know.
There were no knife fragments or any evidence of the actual weapon used other than the cuts themselves.
Well, we're a rural county. We have people who are not greatly educated. Rumors and folklore are common. I put no credence in anything of that nature. I just go by the facts that the police were able to ascertain.
A monster? Yeah, I think this person's a monster. I don't believe fact or fiction. I don't believe the fiction. I think that this is a person, and I'm going to find out who it is. I'm going to reconstruct and do my job to recover what has been lost. The facts.
It is as though the Jersey Devil is a monster reborn in a digital age, reborn on the internet. A demon captured on IRC logs, mangled video, whispers in the dark. It is to these that I look.
It's totally anonymous. I mean, you can't trace a call. You don't know if it's man, woman, old, young. You don't know anything. You don't know where it's from. I mean, in one way, I don't know why the cops didn't try to do anything, and try to figure out, well, who made that idea? Who came up with that suggestion?
Why don't you do a show about the Jersey Devil?
We have this show, Fact or Fiction. It's a paranormal variety show. We have guests come on, that kind of thing. Well, things have kind of been a little slow over at the station, so we thought what we would do is we'd we make a little excursion. There was a suggestion via IRC. There was a suggestion via IRC to
Well, and also from
to
that
the
mailbag.
Yeah.
That guy D something, whatever his name is.
Well, you know, one thing about IRC that's really hard is that, you know, it really is hard to trace it because, I mean, it's not like you know, like the phone number they're calling from. I mean, this could have happened, could have been like Shanghai where they were writing this message from. I mean, you just don't know. That's part of the beauty and part of the evil of it.
It is amazing to be so near, yet so far from the possibility of knowing who the killer is. D something.
Over at the station, so we thought what we would do is we'd make a little excursion. There was a suggestion via IRC to
Well, and also from
to
that
the
mailbag.
Yeah.
That guy D something, whatever his name is.
I mean, it's just not practical to keep logs of that stuff. I mean, I get so much email, so much, it would just clog up my system. I erased it as we went along. I mean, once a point got finished, I killed the email, got rid of it. It was like a to-do list. I check it off, I get rid of the stuff. So once things weren't pertinent anymore, I just got rid of them. So I don't have anything of it really. I mean, there were like a couple of emails that we had at the very end there, but there's nothing illuminating there.
It gets harder and harder to stick with your original gut feeling. I mean, because of the media, you know, and the attention that the whole case is getting and how one-sided, lopsided the whole thing is, and you start to think, maybe he did do it. Maybe there's a side of Jim that I don't know that was capable of such an atrocity.
As this journey nears its end, I begin to fully understand the essence of what this is about. The media upon which these events were recorded, the media that should have been able to provide a truth more pure than ever before, has somehow become the story. This has become more than a search for the truth behind the fact or fiction murders. It has become an indictment of truth and how it is viewed through the lens of the media.
Pretty exciting moment here because the fact or fiction logo is on screen, which means one thing, that we are now actually getting our feed live to the cable company, the access.
Reality television, the news, the 60-second clip of truth have made even the strongest of doubters wonder.
Are you a psychic or a psycho?
Look, man. I'll see you back at camp, man.
Man, why you gotta be so...
What'd you say to him? What'd you say to him?
Man.
He said...
Wait, what do you mean he's gonna be where we
psychic
the
or a
camp?
psycho?
Where the hell's the camp? This is the whole fucking thing. Where the hell is the camp?
We can't lose him.
Well, we're losing
Well,
him.
go find him, man.
Ryan.
I'm not gonna go anywhere near him. What a fucking asshole, man.
Just cut the damn camera already.
I mean, what is the truth? The editing process it's like sifting that stuff out. Ultimately, I mean, not necessarily with these legal videos, but with a documentary film, I mean, ultimately it's what the filmmaker perceives as the truth. I mean, don't you think that's what you're trying to do, right?
The mistakes that were discovered on this journey were stunning. Shoddy police work and a judgmental video presented the world with a person guilty before ever being tried. I know Jim is not guilty. I know that the truth is still at large, potentially closer than anyone can realize. It is as though the real killer planned a media event so amazingly cunning that it could be thought of as scripted, a kill ready for prime time, so to speak. Perhaps the demon we call the Jersey Devil did kill them in the Pine Barrens. But if so, the Jersey Devil is the electronic image, the sound, the communication to the masses, somehow twisted into a surrealist electronic world. I always asked the question last. Do you think Jim did it? And with the exception of authorities directly accountable to the answer, I have felt that the answer given has been, it doesn't matter. The truth is what time has made of this event. It has been good for business. Often murder is. So many involved have benefited from this event. The inevitable book deal is being replaced with a career in the business of image control, and most of the people interviewed are ready to embrace it.
I guess a grim irony here is these post-its can attest to the fact that when we have some real dead bodies, then the sharks start circling. Strange that an incident like that would be a prelude to a new phase in my career.
Well, what's interesting is after the court case was over with all the publicity and everything surrounding it, I started getting phone calls for a couple job leads. I mean, so in one way, this might have helped me out of here.
How long will it take to process the entire tape?
It's not my intention to process the whole tape. I don't need to do that. It could take hours, it could take days. I need to process a particular piece of this tape that could potentially reveal a killer.
Shelley continues to extrapolate information from a frame, while I will reenact the events of December 15th, 1995. This is one of the stops that the guys have made on their way to the Pine Barrens. I know this because of the extensive documentary footage that they've taken of this place. I don't know what good this will do. I think it's just to keep myself clear on what happened. The order of events. Strangely, the weather's almost identical to the way it was that day. I'm now traveling an access route that I know Stephen and Locust had taken for the Jersey Devil project. We're in the midst of the Pine Barrens at this point. And what I'm hoping to do is see if I can't do a recreation of the campsite, perhaps the murder scene. Hopefully traversing this won't be too big of a problem. I'm using this video camera just as a matter of convenience. Using film out here would prove to be logistically too difficult. Hopefully we can get you some good footage and really try to demonstrate the intrepid nature of Stephen and Locust.
From the memory of Eden's door to the dust lying on your
I feel with some more work that I will find the killer. I will see the face of the killer.
All the pines in the forest came to hear the screams in the shepherd's name. All the sheep in your flock remain tied in stables, tied in stables. Bless you, mother, in your divine hand, in the castles you have built with sand. From the memory of Eden's door to the dust lying on your
This site is a very close approximation of the one used by Stephen and Locus on the night of the Jersey Devil episode. They'd chosen a clearing similar to this one as base camp for the telecast. When they ventured onto the Pine Barrens with their cameras, they would never return alive again. The documentary footage that they generated on that evening proves irrevocably that Jim Seard was not responsible for their murders, that Locus and Ryan Clacken were actually alive at the time they were ostensibly killed, and that the police case was shoddy at best. What is the Jersey Devil? It's a man wandering into the Pine Barrens never to be seen again. It's a mangled animal found on one of these access roads. Or perhaps it's something that rests within our psyche and we'll never truly understand. I've been on this project for months now and haven't come to a clear definition of what actually happened or who was responsible. All I know is that it's a mystery and it may permanently remain so. What is the Jersey Devil? I'm now outside of Shelley's studio. All the media, all the interviews. The truth comes down to this one frame. I've determined that this is no time to be distracted or set aside in the course of the events that I've set into motion. My next step will be going to the Pine Barrens for a reenactment of the murders of Stephen Avcast, Locus Weiler, and Ryan Clacken. I'm as strong in my resolve as before in proving that Jim Seard was not responsible for these murders, that he had neither the intellect nor the logical capacity to carry them through. I think that the replayment of our events here will be quite compelling in the demonstration of Seard's innocence. This site is a close approximation of the one chosen by Stephen Locus as the site of their fact-fiction Jersey Devil broadcast. This site is a close approximation of the one chosen by Stephen and Locus as the site of their fact-fiction Jersey Devil broadcast. They'd chosen a clearing similar to this one as base camp, and then ventured into the Pine Barren with their camera. This site is a close approximation of the one chosen by Stephen and Locus as the site of their fact-fiction Jersey Devil broadcast. They'd chosen a clearing similar to this one as base camp, and then ventured into the Pine Barrens with their cameras to find Jersey. This site is a close approximation of the one chosen by Stephen and Locus as the site of their fact-fiction Jersey Devil broadcast. They'd chosen a clearing very similar to this one as base camp, and ventured out into the Pine Barrens with their cameras to try and capture the Jersey Devil. This site is a close approximation of the one chosen by Stephen. The documentary footage that they generated that evening proves irrevocably that Jim Seard had nothing to do with it. They'd chosen clearings.